Welcome to Sports Connection. I'm Darrin Joins, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director. Tate, welcome back, and welcome back to the studio.
Like we were talking earlier, man, I enjoy doing the show on Zoom, but it's just not quite the same. Being here, being 6 feet apart, socially distanced, much better, man. Glad to be back.
Back here with Creed and Lance and Heather and the WCTV crew. Doesn't get better than this. It just doesn't.
In the dungeon, getting work done, man. I feel like we're grinding a little bit.
Love it.
Love it.
Let's start off talking about bowling. For the first time ever, we had a state runner-up. Just fell short in the championship match. Coach Ted Logan and the Franklin Admirals, the Lady Admirals, the runner-up finish over, they played Hardin County, which obviously was a tall task. Hardin County, 8 straight state championships. They're the Brentwood volleyball of bowling. Franklin did have wins over Bartlett, 23-4 in the quarterfinals. Tullahoma, 17-5, 19-5 in the semis before falling short to Hardin County, 22-5. What a great run for Coach Logan and Franklin bowling.
No doubt about it, and congratulations to them. Ran into, I would think it never is easy pill to swallow, but when you got beat by the best, and they are the best, I'd say he got everything out of them that he could. And, we were talking off air. I've been down to Savannah, and, they take it really serious there. This 8 straight state championships not by design. They got the bowling alley there. They have PE. They start them young. It's a PE course or class, and they have middle school teams. And so, I think it won't take long, but we've got the bowling train rolling here in Wilco. It won't be long. We'll take them over.
Won't be. We're going to steal some of that formula. Well, we're going to steal some of that formula too.
That's right.
Coach Logan just does a great job, and all our coaches in the district. But he's real serious about it. He talked about during the off season they're going to take the best bowlers and have sort of a barnstorming tour of letting them go bowl at different places. He knows what's going on when it comes to building a program.
I love it, man. Most coaches do. Enthusiasm and you get them out, right? I think that was the number one thing with all these bowling programs. Get them out, get participation going, and then, what we found out, we got a lot of really good bowlers in the county. So really cool. I love watching bowling, man. It's an exciting sport.
I do too. And I don't know if you know, and we'll educate our audience here a little bit, but there's 3 head-to-head matches in each game. So that's a total of 6 points. And then depending on the total pins, that team gets 2 additional points. So basically there's 8 points on the line for 3 different games, which adds up to 24. And then there's an overall pins at the end, which is worth an additional 3. So to give you an idea, after the first game, it was 3-3 head-to-head. Hardin County had the most total pins. It was 976 to 961. Franklin was hanging tight for sure. And then from that point, Hardin County just sort of took over. It was 7-1 in game 2. Leah Miller, a junior, had a team-high 212 in the first game. Rachel Johnson, who's really been the leader down the stretch here, one of only 2 seniors, Rachel and Riley Garrettson. Rachel had a 209. So not only did they make it, they actually bowled really well. Just Hardin County was too much.
Yep. And with only 2 seniors, I think you're telling me they're going to be really good again next year too.
They are, and I know they were even talking that way. Afterwards, I've read some comments in the paper, some of the players saying, hey, we're looking forward to next year. Some of the graduating seniors looking forward to seeing how it goes on down the line. So they got a taste of it. They believe in themselves. I think you're going to see Franklin and some of our other teams as well continue improving in bowling.
Without a doubt. It's going to be fun. Any idea why they hold it at Smyrna?
I really don't. I'm guessing it's just better lanes, maybe more lanes. I know when we bowl locally, it's Franklin and Tusculum. Those are sort of the 2. And I'll tell you something else that happens. You have to have people willing to host you.
Right.
During this time of COVID, Franklin lanes, and I'm not judging them, but they didn't really feel comfortable with hosting. So we worked on Kings Bowl for some of the matches. Most of the matches were held at Tusculum. So I'm guessing number of lanes, type of lanes, and in fact, me being the novice with bowling and talking to Coach Logan about it earlier in the year, he talked about the lanes at Kings Bowl maybe not being quite as challenging and up to speed as some others. So I didn't really
Very
realize
interesting.
that.
Kind of like a golf course.
Courses for horses.
That's right. I hear they got a really good papa shot right outside, though, in the King's Bowl.
I could actually confirm that. I may have the highest score on that, by the way. That was after last year's
Rivalry
Friday. We went head to head, and I showed you it was no fluke that I could drain some threes or whatever. I guess they're ones. They're ones there until the end, and then.
Well, in carrying on with the theme of this show, it was Boat Race City.
Well, you know.
You're a basketball guy.
Well, and I didn't. You know, I don't like when people do I mean, shoot it. You know.
Yeah. What are we doing?
Shoot it normal.
Right.
I mean, you've proven you can backhand it. It's not really even shooting, but so I can't beat those guys that do that because I don't shoot that quick.
Right.
But that's not even.
I'm calling cheat code on that.
Yeah, I don't like that.
No good.
Wanted to mention the bowlers for Franklin. Leah Miller, Kayla Midgley, Maddie Yates, Mary Polk, all will return next year. And again, Rachel Johnson, Riley Garrettson, graduating seniors. Centennial boys, congratulations to Coach Paula Clevenger and the Centennial boys. They lost in the quarterfinals 23-4 to Hardin County. They go on to win the state tournament. They're 4th overall as well. So who knows what happens if Centennial gets a little bit different draw. But hey, if you're going to win it, you got to beat the best. Unfortunately, they drew the best in round 1. Sam Dotson and Jake Littlejohn had the 2 wins for Centennial. Team was made up of Trevor Flack, Frankie Negrone, Cameron Cordero, Wyatt Stigall. So great run also for Centennial.
Yep. And if you could combine Centennial and Franklin bowling, we'd be really rolling. You know what I'm saying?
No pun intended.
No pun intended. Hey, yeah, that's right.
Hey,
Congratulations.
Individual side, a sophomore, Drew Whalen from Franklin finished 5th overall after bowling an 8-10 series in the qualifying rounds. If you want to add that, that's pretty good. 8-10's not bad.
Is that 3 rounds?
I believe it's 4.
4. Goodness gracious.
So it's over 200
yeah.
each time. So, no, if it was 3 rounds, that'd be what?
Well, you'd be 90 under a perfect score.
Yeah, so, yeah. Believe that's 4.
Hey, man, I'm just worried about breaking 100.
Hey, here's an update. I know you'll appreciate this, just in case anybody in our audience out there doesn't believe that in WCS we are the best. Here's some proof of it. After all the championships we've had so far, we have 5 team titles. We have 5 team runners-up and an individual champion. So no worse than a runner-up in every sport so far.
That's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
And wrestling's next, so you know I've got a couple teams. I've definitely got Fairview penciled in for a state title. Hey, Summit's bringing it too.
Bringing it.
The problem with Summit's going to be Cleveland and Wilson Central.
Correct.
You know, that's the issue they're going to
They
have.
really need a good draw, but they could get it, and you know, so I think they've got a chance for sure. But it's going to be tough, but without a doubt. And you know, we don't have to do any fact checking. There's no other school system in the state that has 5 titles, 5 runner-ups. I know our good friend, summer camp man at Gallatin. I know he's excited to hear that.
I'm sure he'll be sending in some comments to both of us. Just send those comments to at WCSCO Athletics if you're in Gallatin and would like to comment about the show. Let's talk wrestling. Brentwood defeated Ravenwood in the Battle of the Woods on the mat, 40-33. Number 10 in the state, Summit, with a big win over Page, 49-14. Earlier in the week, Independence defeated Page 34-32, which made them the 4th team to make the duels, which will take place this week. Centennial defeats Franklin 44-36. So here's what happens. At Brentwood, it will be Summit, Brentwood, Centennial, Independence wrestling for the District Duels Championship this week.
Correct. Summit's number 1 in the South region. They will get Centennial, and then Brentwood's the number 1 in the North region. They get Independence. And so you're right. Right now, I don't think there's any argument. Summit's the best team right now, but you know what happens anytime they get on the mat. And I thought it was pretty cool with Brentwood, the way they closed out. I don't know if you saw it, but they in dual matches last week, they beat Franklin They beat Franklin, Centennial, and Ravenwood. And the way they beat Ravenwood, they closed out the dual match with 3 straight pins. My man William Dobbs, sophomore, got a pin at 182 to get that thing rolling. They needed all 3 of those to get that win. And so really finished strong. You forget, they lost probably the best wrestler to ever come out of this county last year. And then another state champion.
What was his name?
Skylar Coffey. He was pretty good.
And they had another guy that was pretty good
Johnny
too.
McFeldacker, another state champion. They had no seniors. And so I think the job Coach Smith has done to have that number 1 seeding in the North region is really, and his wrestlers obviously, really, really cool. But yeah, that's going to be fun. That North versus South, the 4 up there, but Summit's for sure the favorite coming out of that.
I want to send out a congratulations too to Mitchell Lambert of Page High School. Got his 100th career win with a win against Summit. So led by Coach Gray in that wrestling program. That's a pretty big deal. Congratulations to Mitchell.
Oh, without a doubt. Well, you think about it. To win 100, what do you either average over 30 a year, sophomore, junior, and senior, and they're not even done, or that means you won quite a few matches as a freshman too. That's 100 matches is pretty dang strong.
I always appreciate how you do that. Anytime we say number of wins or number of wins, you always go to,
Matt.
well, I think that's great though. I mean, it really is because it does put it in perspective.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Well,
what
think
did he do?
about-
He won over 20. If he wrestled as a freshman, he had at least 25 a year.
That's right.
That's okay. It's pretty good.
That's pretty dang good.
It is.
Well, and considering you're probably 14 years old, at best you're 15, and you're out there wrestling 16, 17, 18-year-olds, golly, I was worried about getting a 135 up on a bench press. I don't even think I could squat it when I was a freshman.
You know what's so interesting to me about wrestling too is how when you follow their careers, for the most part, unless you're just one of those big guys, that weight class change every year. It's pretty interesting to track that.
Oh, yeah.
What they were as a freshman versus what they were as a senior. It's a lot different.
Oh, yeah. But it was fun to watch, Johnny Mack go up. He ended up being at 189 last year. But I think his freshman year, he might have been 145. That's pretty cool.
It is. Let's talk basketball. The girls' standings are now as clear as mud after this week. I think we can be pretty confident in saying Indy and Centennial should be the bottom 2. Centennial 1-7, Independence 0-9. Franklin's sitting at 2-8, but I feel pretty confident they'll be 7th or 6th, with Dixon at 3-6, Franklin 2-8. Then here it gets a little bit bundled up. Ravenwood, actually be jumbled up, wouldn't it?
Either one.
Jumbled, bundled, whatever.
Yeah.
Ravenwood, 5.
Bumbling.
I can tell by the look on your face, you're like, okay, that's the wrong word.
I got you, though. We're right here.
Yes. Ravenwood, 5-3 in 5th. Summit, 6-2. They had a couple of losses to, I can't believe I'm saying this, number 1 Spring Hill, but then they turn around and defeat Brentwood on Saturday night. So Summit's now 6-2, Brentwood 8-2, Page 7-1, and Spring Hill. Listen, for all the times I have completely dogged Spring Hill and Dixon football and some of these sports, hats off to Spring Hill, 7-0 right now.
Well, they've now, Summit was undefeated in district play. They beat them twice in the past 7 days. And then they are one of Brentwood's losses. So it can't be a fluke.
Not a fluke. Can't be a fluke. We'll see if they can do it in the postseason.
That's right.
Since they haven't been there. Let's highlight a couple of the games here. Brentwood, let's talk about that game on Saturday. Brentwood 37, Summit 59. It was a makeup game from December 11th. They turn around and play again this Friday at Summit, but Summit really handled the number 5 in the state-ranked Bruins. Summit led by Delaney Noe with 24 points, 19 in the second half. Nicole Razine, 13 points. Ellie Colson, 10 points, 16 rebounds for Summit.
Strong. Double-double. I've always wondered, you being the basketball coach, Delaney, 19 in the, what was was that an adjustment? You know what I'm saying? Like, why 19 in the second half?
Well, usually what happens with a player like her, it's getting hot. She likes to shoot the perimeter shot. She gets hot, you keep feeding her. And I tell you, Coach Wild does a really good job, really as much as anybody I've seen, at getting the right players the right shots. If you can't shoot, you don't shoot for Summit. But that doesn't mean you can't do other things. You can't be a screen setter, you can't be a rebounder, can't be a defender. But the best players are going to shoot for Coach Wild, which, I was kind of the same way. I mean, I'll put it this way. I've had to tell players before, and, it may be a factual way, you're open because the other team knows something you don't.
I've heard you say that.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
There's nothing wrong with being a screener, a passer, a defender. Takes all kinds to fill out a team, but the people that can shoot it need to be shooting it.
See, I've always loved that. I wish, I know they make too much money, but I've always thought, I wish some of the pro coaches would do that. Hey, boys, here's the deal. If anybody but this guy and this guy shoots the ball, you're going to come over and be sitting with me. We clear? Is that?
Makes
anybody
sense to me.
shoots it but one of these two people.
Makes sense to me. Brentwood, only 23% from the field. And a good example of this, Bergen Ali. I think she scored 4 points for Summit. But she did a great job guarding Amelia Osgood, the Princeton signee. She only had 10 points. Sydney Ryan, 8. So they held the big two,
Yes.
so to speak, with only 18 points. So great job by Summit and a big win because it was heading, not really just heading the wrong way. They lost to the number 1 team, but they could have, if they lose 3 in a row and then have to play Brentwood again, maybe they're feeling a little bit different than getting that win on Saturday night.
Yeah. And I think that was big too because Summit's a little banged up. They're getting healthier. It'll be a different look here in 2 weeks, but you're right. Losing 3 in a row, that's not good for morale. And the other thing that I think is going to be fun about watching this is Brentwood won't shoot 23% from the floor again. So not saying they'll beat Summit, but I think 59-37. I don't know that we'll see that again. I'm excited to see that. These two will see each other again.
Page with a couple of big wins this week, 77-20 over Centennial, and in the WCTV game of the week, 73-19 over Independence. Against Independence, Mackenzie Cochran, 24 points. She had 4 threes. Lily Wilkin, 13. Sadie Porter, 12. Brayley Bushman, 10. Independence, Leah Ober led the team with 10 points. Just 2 dominant performances. And, Tate, I was going to tell you, I ran into Mackenzie's dad at the game, Mackenzie Cochran's dad, and he was saying he was a fan of the show. So, Mr. Cochran, we appreciate you watching. And, Tate, that's just proof that some people do actually watch.
Well, the most electrifying half hour, depending on how over we go, the most electrifying 42 minutes on WCTV today. But thank you, Mr. Cochran. We appreciate you.
In other action, Ravenwood with a 60-44 win over Franklin. A couple of special moments. Reagan Grimes, who had 17 points, picked up her 1,000th career point. Lexi Erickson, who had 25 points, became the school's 3-point leader with 151. That game was 35-30 going into the fourth quarter, but Erickson had 10, Grimes 6 in the fourth quarter. Franklin led by, no surprise, Kate O'Neill with 18, Brenna Swiger with 11. Again, Franklin's still playing pretty well, just coming up short on the scoreboard right now.
Coach, you talk about Ellie Colson and the double-double. 18 points for Kate O'Neill, 20 rebounds.
Oh, she had 20 that night.
20 rebounds.
Dang, how'd I miss that? That's great.
That's straight getting it done.
Definitely getting it done. Let's move on to the boys' side. Franklin had a big week with wins over Brentwood and Ravenwood. They're now 9-1, and they've got first wrapped up. Let's face it. They've got first wrapped up, and Spring Hill, I think, has last wrapped up. They're 0-6. Dixon County is 1-8. Centennial 2-6. Then it gets crowded. Indy 5-5, Page 5-4, Summit 5-4, Brentwood 6-3, Ravenwood 7-3. Now, to me, and we'll see this week, we'll know a lot more at the end of this week. Again, I think Franklin's going to end up 1. Ravenwood, Brentwood 2-3 in my opinion, and then 4 through 6. I think it's anybody's game right now.
100%. It is, and only one way. Just let it play out because I don't know how you pick. They're all so close.
Let's talk about the WCTV game of the week. Page 58, Independence 50. Now, I'll tell you this, if Indy would have won that game, it would have gone a long way for them finishing top 4. It's a great game. It was a 2-point game going to the fourth quarter. It was back and forth throughout. Independence took a lead late, 46-44, but Page then finished strong. And speaking of the game of the week, here is our WCTV plays of the week.
Jake Dozier.
Yeah, how about that? Oh, send it in!
Nicely done. Off the lob is Cameron Bell.
And the capacity crowd of 17 people are on their feet for that one. Bang! There's the answer.
Pierce Brule on the 3 answers the stuff at the other end, and this one turns into a slugfest quickly.
Hey.
Nice lob by River Katina to Cameron Bell. Two-handed stuff. That had to, too bad we didn't have the full crowd there. That would have really made the gym explode. And then came back in a quick answer by Pierce Brule. So 2 nice plays back to back. But it was, I think, and you see at the end of the game with Page pulling out, I think that answer by Pierce was very big because that could have been a momentum changer.
Brule ends up with 16 points, 4 threes for the night. Thomas Seaman, 12 points, 6 of 6 from the free throw line down the stretch. Cameron Bell led Independence with 12, Jet Montgomery 10. Brentwood Franklin, this is back from Tuesday night. Franklin was ranked number 5 in the state at the time. They score 46 to Brentwood's 44. Brentwood was ranked number 8. It was a real defensive battle. In fact, Franklin was up 39-30 late, but Brentwood just kept hanging around like they do, hanging around. Actually had a desperation 3 from Jake Brock that would have won the game. There was like 1.7 seconds left. They've got a sideline out of bounds. No timeouts left, so not time to draw anything up. Franklin did a good job on the defensive end, but a game, you get the feeling this isn't the last time that Franklin and Brentwood are going to play. Kemp leads Franklin with 14, Aiden Smiley 12, Matt Thurman 11, Griffin Burke 12, John Windley for Brentwood. And I did want to mention this with Windley. They come back and they defeat Summit on Saturday night, 69-58. Windley gets his 1,000th career point. So a lot of milestones this past week, Tate.
Yep. Congratulations to John. He's one of my favorites. Glad to see him get there. And that Franklin Brentwood, I think, had to be by design by Coach Shirley, right? He wants, when those two get together, he wants that score low. Doesn't want Franklin getting out and running, and I would think.
Definitely does. Franklin wants a little bit more up-tempo, higher-scoring game, but a game in the 40s and low 50s gives Brentwood a chance to win.
I agree.
Friday night, Franklin 69, Ravenwood 68. Franklin avenges their only district loss. In fact, it's their last loss. Back on December 4th, that game was played at Ravenwood. The loss on December 4th was. Again, this one down to the wire. And by the way, Tate, this week's gym. 3 of the last 4 games have been decided on sideline out of bounds. The game's coming down to the last moments, whatever reason, the ball, either timeout, knocked out of bounds, whatever. Sideline out of bounds with under 10 seconds. Reed Kemp had just scored on a nice shot there in the lane to go up 69-68. Ravenwood gets the ball back. Nick Dang has the ball, kind of loses it, throws up a desperation heave there towards the end. But Franklin comes out on top. And again, you get the feeling they're going to play again.
Yeah, I would think so. And like you said, that is Franklin's last loss. Ravenwood had a chance to win it. But also earlier in the game, Ravenwood, it looked like it was getting ready to slip away from them too. So, yeah, I mean, I think we'll see these two again. Reed Kemp, 34 points. That was so fun to watch. 5 of them were threes, but the rest of them was just him breaking it down and getting it to the basket. I don't know how you do that, but I would think next time they meet, you continue to allow him to get to the basket, you're going to lose.
Well, and it's easier said than done.
Right. Yeah, I get it.
You know, it is. Matt Thurman, 20 points that particular night. Aiden Smiley, 11. Ravenwood led by Nick Dang with 21. Noah Clifford, 12. Matt Williams, 10. The thing that's scary to me about Ravenwood, they haven't really played many games with the fully healthy team.
Right.
And if they get that right at the right time, look out. They're going to be. I mean, obviously they're dangerous. They're 7-4 or 7-3 in the league, but they're going to have a real shot to win this thing and the region tournament and move on to the sub-state and state tournament. We've got a few of those teams that are going to be in the hunt.
Well, and they didn't have everybody Friday night either. So yeah, and got in foul trouble. So I don't know. It's going to be fun. I can't wait to see them play again.
Let's talk about our AA teams. Fairview girls continuing to roll, 8-1 in the district. This past week, wins over Waverly and Camden, and the Camden game was 55-49 in overtime. Casey Mullins, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Riley Dillingham, 18 points, 8 rebounds. Kelsey Gossage, 19.6 rebounds. That's like this year's version of last year's Brentwood girls' Big Three.
Yeah,
That's
no
the Big
doubt.
Three.
Yeah.
Coming through every time for Coach McGowan in Fairview.
I think you go ahead and give Coach McGowan Coach of the Year. You got to think Kelsey Gossage is got to be a strong favorite for MVP. 8-1 in the district, man. That's fantastic.
On the boys' side, also 8-1, and Coach McCoy, you got to give him maybe the nod as well, because they keep losing people and replacing and losing and replacing, and they're doing it. It's totally a team effort. Now, Kennedy Pendergrass is a guy that stands out. Their double overtime win over Camden, he had 22 points and 6 assists, but Carter Durham, 18, Jack Estes, 12, Mays McCoy, 10. Our man, Shoma Tackup, with 10 rebounds. So Fairview boys really playing well. And the thing I've noticed with them, they have confidence. They have confidence in what they're doing, and you got to give Coach McCoy credit on that.
No doubt about it. But he's, they've been there. He knows what he's doing. Been there, a long time now, and it's always been. They've been successful, but replacing a lot of really good players, and Kennedy is I don't know that he's had an off night all year, and then what up? I mean, Shoma, man, and then he's got 10 rebounds. That's just like, you know what I'm saying? He's definitely on the all-name team. And, hey, it's never easy to get a win over our man Lester Q. Trotter at Waverly, so that was a big win.
No doubt. Let's talk about Nolansville. And I know you had Coach Ladd on this weekend, but big win over Forest, 50-37. They moved to 3-1 in the district. Cayman Ladd, 17 points. Zoe Pillar, 12.7 rebounds. Chloe Earls, 9 points, 3 threes. On the boys' side, they're also 3-1 in the league. 2-point win over Community, and a big 3 by Ashton Smith to secure the win over Forest. Davin Watkins, 16. Max McAllister, 15 points on 5 threes. So Coach Babington, Coach Ladd, they've got the Knights playing well too.
No doubt. And for those that don't know, that Community win in boys, that's a big win. They're
big
really
win.
good in basketball. Big win. I think Coach Babington, this team is going to be someone that's going to surprise some people in the tournament. I think that's what they're building towards. Both he and Coach Ladd, they play tough non-district schedules. And I think that's by design, because sometimes the district is tough. So, and Coach Ladd, we forget the season that was cut short, and then, you lose Grace Baird and Parker Leftwich. But what's been fun to see, and he talked about it Saturday, but his daughter Cayman, she was kind of the fourth option last year, and not because that was her role, right? Like what you were talking about earlier. She can flat shoot, and she's really putting up a lot of points. And then with Zoe, I mean, my goodness, I can't remember what both of their stat lines are, but they're at the top of the team and leaders in every category that there is. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and he's doing a good job of what we talked about. Cayman and Zoe and Chloe are going to do the shooting for Nolansville.
That's right.
It's pretty obvious.
There's only one ball. and the thing I thought was pretty cool too was he was talking about one thing Zoe's got to work on is foul trouble. But it's because she's so much stronger than everybody else down there, and aggressive too. But hey, that's part of coaching, right? If you're sitting over here with me, you're not helping the team, right?
No doubt. Tate, looking forward to this week's action. We got the wrestling duels, the WCTV game of the week, Brentwood at Summit. I'm going to be interested in to see what happens in both of those games. It's a really good girls game. It's a really good boys game. We're going to know a lot more about the league when we talk next week.
It's winding down, but the exciting thing about that is we know we're getting ready to be in tournament, and that's my favorite. Of the 3 seasons, tournament seasons is my favorite, and wrestling is going to be excited too. We got a AAA team that you're predicting to win state.
No pressure.
I think we get 2 in AAA. It's going to be fun.
It is going to be fun. As always, we appreciate you joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time on Sports Connection.